Mary had a little lamb. This is a little different kind of puppet show than you've seen before, in that it's the Christmas story told through the eyes of the animals. And we just hope that your spirit is blessed and uplifted tonight as we share together the Christmas story.
I started in puppets at the Zion Lutheran Church here in Decatur. I taught Sunday school for the first graders, and I had a classroom of a lot of boys and only 2 girls. I had a little trouble getting them to cooperate. I was only in high school, so I got this idea that maybe if I talked to them about puppets and did little 3-fingered puppets at the time, had a puppet show at random, it would be a way to get them to behave better, and I could surprise them then with a puppet show. They were fascinated every time I did surprise them with a puppet show, and it was a lot of fun to do. I married my husband and we started going to a different church. We went to a Wesleyan church. They had Children's Day, which I'd never heard of before, and a puppet group came and performed. And they used wide-mouth puppets, kind of like you see on Sesame Street, and that had me very intrigued and my husband somewhat interested at the time.
We had no idea what to expect, and they did a puppet show for Children's Day, and I was amazed. I wanted to see more. I was disappointed when it was over because I was just fascinated by it. Jack and Althea Shove, who were the directors of this puppet ministry, and we got talking with them and we kind of showed interest in that. And they said, if you're really serious about this, we can help you get started.
After they performed, we talked with the people, and that is how we got started on using the big mouth puppets in our puppetry ministry that we started then at that time, and we started with musicals.
Chris met with Althea on afternoons and she taught her how to sew puppets. So Chris would bake her an apple pie or anything and take it to her, and then she would show her how to sew puppets.
She actually made puppets. She had patterns for puppets, and so she helped me make puppets in the early days and helped me with the patterns that she had. And we had sewing days that we would work together and we sewed different puppets.
Once we got a few puppets lined up, we started doing little skits with them. Not a big major show or anything. We might do a skit. From that point on, we recruited some youth at the Wesleyan Church, only 5 or 6, and we started doing children's musicals.
When we first started doing shows, we sent postcards out to different churches telling them we had a puppet show if they would like to book us. And then from there, word of mouth, people would come up to us after we did a show. Can you come to our church? Can you come to this function?
From then on, it just by word of mouth, it just kind of took off from there.
As time went by, it was easier for me to watch for puppet companies to have puppets on sale. The quality of the puppets that other people made was a lot better than what I could sew, but it served a purpose in those early days to get us started on a limited budget to make puppets. It was a lot of fun to get started with it, and they were a lot of help to get started with it too. We were kind of all learning together in the beginning days. I guess the favorite thing that I like to do with the puppets is brainstorming the musicals and how can we make those musicals come alive that keep the audience interested so that they will listen to the message, giving the true meaning of Christmas at Christmas time.
For the puppet shows, I make a lot of the props and the special puppets. I think that's one of my favorite things I like to do, to listen to a song in the musical and using the key words of what I can make a puppet out of that. Anything like that, I'm just kind of fascinated in doing that. My favorite show, oh boy, there were many of them. A lot of them have a really neat message. I like Free Gift.
I really like The Journey to the Center of Christmas, but probably Ticket to Christmas was one of my absolute favorites. I liked that one because they used Bible verses and made songs out of them, so I really liked Ticket to Christmas.
Another one of my favorites was Back to the Manger, and it was a parody to the popular movie Back to the Future, where we actually built a time machine and had these kids go back in time to different areas of biblical history, and that was really fun to do.
company tape helped us a lot.
In the early 2000s, we got asked to do a puppet show at the Embassy Theater. It was for a Santa breakfast, and that was really a neat experience for my husband and I to be able to perform with a group of kids on that nice big stage, and be on the stage where other performers had been on that stage, very famous performers, and there we were performing our puppet show on that very stage. So it was a neat experience to be able to perform at the Embassy in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
When the kids start back to school, we meet at our house every Sunday night and we practice. We run through puppet exercises and get their skills up, what to do, what not to do, how to operate a puppet. Then we hand out scripts and assign parts, and then we start piece by piece, start practicing the show until we complete the whole show, and then we refine it. And hopefully by the end of November, we're ready to go out and perform these puppet shows.
I guess I never realized 30 years ago that 30 years later we would still be doing puppets. I'm not sure where I thought it was going to go, but I am thrilled that the Lord has taken us this far, and we're still really excited about putting shows together, even if we do just recycle and redo some of our older shows because the messages are just so good.
I remember always telling Chris, after sending out cards and by word of mouth, we always had several commitments or shows we had lined up every year, and I always said that if the Lord didn't want us to do this anymore, He would just not have us, the churches wouldn't invite us back. But year after year, we've always been invited back, and they look forward to it, and we look forward to it. A lot of the churches we've been back year after year, and they're just super people. They're just loving people, and they always enjoy having us come and present a puppet show for their Sunday school hour, or just during their church service we do a puppet show.
It's been a real blessing to work with people, and we've got new people that come in all the time, and it's just fun to meet people and travel with people. It's been a real blessing what the Lord has done with us.
For the future of Agape Express Puppets, I pray that the Lord continues to use us and continuing to spread the good news and the message of Christmas. But it's all in His will. If He wants us to, I'm still, after all these years, I've not grown tired of it. I still enjoy it, and I'm sure Chris does too, and working with these kids. And I'd always enjoy seeing the kids' enthusiasm as we travel from place to place every Sunday and Wednesday night. I think they really enjoy being a part of this ministry. I think it's been a blessing in their lives, and it's certainly been a blessing in mine.